or I have nothing to gain by throwing. That's all. That's all well and good from a football standpoint. From a pure business standpoint, because I think about a guy like Marvin. I think about a guy like your man Marvin Harrison. Sure, plenty of people rolled their eyes. Surprise, surprise. Marvin Harrison's kid didn't want to talk to the media.
How great is that?
Shocker. Shocker. Yeah. But who knows why?
In Indianapolis.
In
That's
Indianapolis.
Right on brand.
Right. That felt poetic. But I'll give it back to you by saying this. You use the word entitled, and a lot of these kids get tagged with a sense of entitlement. Going back to Morton, going back to the reporter that I've always tried to be, and I know you are as well. I never felt like I was entitled to anybody's time, to access to anybody. I never walked around feeling like somebody owed me anything, owed me the time of day. Now, some may say, well, hey, the reason you're able to make this kind of money is because of you're selling the game, you're growing the game. I hear you. But I'm not going to sit up here and rip a kid to shreds if he chose not to show up, which he's not contractually obligated to do. And look it up. I didn't rip Marshawn Lynch when Marshawn Lynch was there so he didn't get fined. I didn't have a problem with that either. Because you know what I do in those situations? I go to the next podium. Or the next podium.
Yes.
Or I go and pull somebody aside the way Chris Mortensen did and get exclusives. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so
the crowd is
whether
over
it's
there.
Caleb Williams, right?
Let's go
they
somewhere
zigging, I'm
else.
zagging.
Yep.
So whether it's Caleb Williams or Marvin Harrison, it's like these new dudes are playing the game differently than it's always been played. And like it or not, a change gonna come.
And the funny thing about it, Michael, is that the coaches are starting to change too. There are a lot of coaches who aren't.
They don't go. Entire staffs don't go. They don't think it's worth their time.
Really?
Because we can get more done at home.
I think this is the time.
Or maybe they're just saving the money.
If we're trying to preserve the meaning of it, we're trying to preserve some aspect of the combine. I think everybody should sit down and have representatives from all sides, whether it's the players or the coaches or the combine organizers themselves. I think representatives need to get together and say, hey, what works for everybody? What works where everybody can be comfortable, and we kind of update this thing that hasn't been updated in a long time. Because even for coaches, so I understand what the coaches are saying, and they said it before they didn't show up. I mean, I remember Bill Belichick always rolling his eyes about the combine. Whatever. This thing doesn't matter. This is a waste of time, all that. But they still would go. Like, even if the coaches feel like it's a waste, well, tell us how we can make it worth your time. If the players feel like, hey, this certain aspects are just, I'm not feeling this part of it, tell us how we can make it so does it need to be shorter? Does it need to be longer? Does the medical part need to be more secluded? Like, what is it that will make this combine functional and modern? Because if I say to you right now, give me your medical information for a job. I mean, even for a job, you're like, what? Excuse me? Like, if I say it, you might. If 20 other jamokes say it, you're like, what the hell is this? What the hell? What's going on here?
I do think it. I'm not. So I get Caleb Williams pulling a power play in that category or in that department. But like your medical history is paramount and critical to the job you're about to perform.
It is paramount to it. But I'm saying, is it paramount at this stage of your career? Because what happens when guys get traded, like 5 years in, you want to make a trade, you do want to make a trade. I know you do. But if you're a general manager, you want to make a trade with somebody, you exchange medical information because this is relevant to your franchise. It's relevant to mine. Okay, here we go. Right. But it ain't relevant for everybody right now. So why the hell do the Kansas City Chiefs need Caleb Williams' medical information? Why do the Buffalo Bills need it? I don't even know if they want it. Why do the Cincinnati Bengals need it? So I don't know. I can understand like some hesitation there.
Oh, and sure. Okay.
One day he might be employed by them. Well, when we get to that day, then we'll give you the
Yeah.
files. But right now, like, why everybody got my information?
Sure.
It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I got
it's
you.
weird.
No, I hear what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, it's more about you're not talking about the value of the information. You're talking about the way it's disseminated and shared. I got you. I
everybody,
follow you.
right? Everybody don't need to have it. We don't need this to be in the group chat. This don't need to be in the group chat.
So, again, going back to Marvin Harrison, his game does the talking. I'm sure he'll spend plenty of time talking. I wasn't bothered by Marvin Harrison not showing up to speak to the media.
I was curious, though. I wasn't bothered. I got to say I was curious.
Right. But again, I don't know that he needs to explain it. I don't know. I mean, like maybe I'm getting with the times. Maybe he just wasn't feeling up to it. Because I'll tell you what, the last thing I want is to waste my time listening to somebody that don't want to be there. Give me the dude, because there's got a lot of dudes that want to be there. A lot of dudes that want to tell their story. A lot of dudes that embrace that stage or that podium. If he was going to come and half-ass it, which would belie his reputed work ethic, then good, stay home. If you don't, maybe he has something going on in his personal life. Maybe he was working on, because apparently, reportedly, I think it was your man Albert Breer was talking about he wasn't training for the combine. Like he was training for the season. Whereas a lot of guys get ready for combine drills this time of year, he's getting ready for the season. All I know is like part of his appeal is that he's Marvin Harrison's kid. Nobody ever questioned Marvin Harrison's work ethic or his professionalism.
That's true.
Or his dedication to his craft. So,
but this is why I'm curious.
I don't care if he was unprofessional by not showing up to combine media availability. Yes.
And I wouldn't even go there. I wouldn't even say like, oh, shame on the kid for not doing it. He's a great interview. That's why
he seems like a good kid. Yeah. He seems like a good kid.
Whereas
like a fun kid.
Marvin Harrison was not a great interview.
Right.
Is not. Now maybe is now, but when he played.
Yeah, you know what? Debunk that.
But Marvin Harrison Jr. is.
But debunk that. Because physically, he's bigger than his father. He's not. He's got the genetics, but he's not a carbon copy of his father. His father was the original Slim Reaper. His father was very slight coming out of
6
Syracuse.
Feet, what, 180?
Yeah.
Maybe 185, somewhere in there? Not even.
But this kid is not only different physically, debunk that though, personality-wise. He doesn't carry himself exactly the same way as his father did.
Not at all. Not at all. Great personality. Just seems to be a teammate that everybody can embrace. Didn't complain one time. Let me just cape up for him here. I'm going to complain on his behalf because I'm still not over it. So let me just say, he didn't complain about the poor quarterback play at Ohio State last year with Kyle McCord. Take his ass to Syracuse where he belongs. He wasn't ready for the big time. So Kyle McCord throwing him ducks all season, and he's taking these lemons, turning it into lemonade, and getting himself to a top 5 position in the NFL draft. Didn't complain one time. Had a bad quarterback. Compare this to Jaden Daniels at LSU, who had not one but 2 top 15 receivers who he could look around and throw to, and Daniels himself a top 5 guy. That wasn't happening at Ohio State, and yet Marvin Harrison Jr. just did his thing and still played like the best receiver. I'm so glad that Kyle McCord is gone, by the way.
I need you to calm down. No, more important, I need you to calm down because I don't want you, I don't want you taking Marvin Harrison with the 2nd pick in our rookie draft in this dynasty league. I'm hoping that you go quarterback.
I'm still considering.
And Marvin Harrison slides a little bit down the board to me.
Maybe he drops a little because he didn't talk to the media. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe we work out a deal. Look, maybe we work out a deal. Maybe I trade up into that 2nd spot.
I blocked you. I blocked your number. I blocked you.
I haven't even reached out to you.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.